Hey there, it's Andrea, and welcome to the Voice of Influence podcast. So, recently, a string of tornadoes showed up in my home state of Nebraska. They were not close to where I live, but they were close to other people that I know, and it's a little terrifying to think of the sky just sort of unleashing this really big storm on top of you and the potential of losing a home in just seconds. Those kinds of things are really scary. And when you think about stuff like that, you think about how you would protect your family. How would I keep them safe and shelter them in the midst of a big storm? And I think that that can happen a lot in life. I think we can see the big storms of life come, and our minds very quickly go to, how do I protect myself, my family, the people that I care about, the people that I'm responsible for? How do I protect them from the dangers of the world? And sometimes it feels like there's a lot of dangers in the world, especially right now. I don't know. It just feels like it's just getting like more divisive and difficult with social media, with YouTube, with all kinds of information that our kids have access to. If you're a parent, you can certainly feel like something crazy could happen. Your mind can wander. You watch the reality TV shows, about dating or dating online and that sort of thing. And you think, oh my goodness, my friends, my family, myself, my whatever. Um, there's just so many things that you could be afraid of because we're exposed to so many things to be afraid of, because those are the things that are most fascinating. They capture our attention. And so, of course, that's what's going to be on TV. That's what's going to pop up on YouTube. The the things that are the most divisive, the things that are most scary, these are the things that get attention. So these are the things that are going to be put in front of you and put in front of our families and our coworkers. These are the things that are in front of us all of the time. Is what do we have to be afraid of? What do we have to be outraged about? There are dangers. There are storms that are coming, and what in the world would we do? So there have also been tornadoes in Oklahoma, and this morning I watched a video about a family who had ordered a storm shelter, and it was supposed to be delivered the day after a storm hit. So the storm hit, and they got in their car to go over to a friend's house to join them in their storm shelter. So protecting the family, let's do this, like we're going to take care of ourselves and we're going to take care of our family. And of course, everybody would do that, right? Like none of us are sitting there saying, casting any kind of judgment on them. But what's interesting is what happened. So they're driving through this impending storm when out of nowhere the tornado just kind of, like, I don't know if the tornado just showed up or what happened exactly, but they were thrown. Their vehicle was thrown, and the parents got trapped inside of this vehicle. But their son, who was in the back, their son was like, I think 8 or 9 years old. Their son was okay. And the parents are trapped. They're stuck. They're hurt. They're not well, but they're not alive. They're alive and conscious. And so their son is able to get out of the car. Even though he can't get his parents out, he's able to get out. And so he says, Mom, Dad, don't die. I'm going to go and get help. And he takes off running. his uncle tells this story on this video. I'll link to it in the show notes. But his uncle tells this story that as he's running, it's dark, and so he can't see anything. But when lightning strikes, it illuminates the ground and he can see the road. And so he just keeps running. And he runs and he runs. And his uncle estimated that he probably ran about a mile in 10 minutes and was able to round up people to come help him get his parents out. And his parents are now in the hospital and doing pretty well and expected to have a full recovery. And what I love about this story is the child having the responsibility. That responsibility was like placed on him, not because his parents placed it on him, but because of the circumstances. He didn't really have a choice. He could either do nothing or he could try to go get help. And he rose to the occasion. He rose to the occasion in the midst of this storm and said, I'm going to go do this. And found the courage, found the stamina, the determination to get back to people who could help. And what's amazing to me also is that the storm itself is what helped him get there. The lightning, the lightning striking, and he's running. He's running for his life. He's running for his parents' lives, but he is doing it, and he did it, you guys. He did it. As much as we want to protect ourselves, our kids, our coworkers, as much as we want to protect people from the storms that are around us, sometimes it's not possible. And not only that, sometimes it might not even be necessary. This child had the opportunity to find something strong and powerful and amazing inside of himself because of a storm. He is going to live the rest of his life knowing that he did something extraordinary and that he has what it takes to be able to handle the storms. And I wonder how often we work so hard at shielding ourselves and other people from the storms, and what that might be doing to holding us back from really being able to experience something extraordinary in ourselves, to find, tap into, become something extraordinary because of a storm. If you're somebody that struggles with anxiety, if you're somebody that is really good at looking for potential problems, but then that can turn into a fear that maybe won't allow you to let go. If you're somebody who is in a situation where you're doing everything you can to give all you can to the people that you care about, I just want to share this gentle reminder as somebody who I can say as a mom, as a business owner, who wants to be able to take care of everybody, but has experienced the value of letting people weather their own storms. I just want to share that you don't have to be the hero in everybody's story. You don't have to shield everybody from pain or from failure. That when storms come, and they do come for other people, sometimes it's good to stand there and allow them to figure out how they're going to handle it for themselves. Because they need to find that thing inside of themselves that says, I can do this. I can do hard things. when they find that, they're going to become more confident. They're going to become more resilient. And when they fail and realize that it wasn't the end of the world, that they failed at something, they might start to get used to putting themselves out there more often, using their voice, sharing their contributions, sharing their ideas, because things don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. They get to contribute to this ongoing dialogue where we're all learning and growing. And because of that, they are a meaningful part of the team, a meaningful part of the family, a meaningful part of your relationship. Because you don't have to go in and save the day. Sometimes other people need to find their own ability to save the day for themselves or to save the day for their teams. If you're somebody who is in that position, in a position of leadership, in a position of parenting, here are 3 things that you can do to help other people realize that they have what it takes. Number 1, ask questions. Instead of making statements, instead of giving advice, ask questions that allow other people to come to their own conclusions, to find their own voice, to consider different options and make a choice for themselves. So, ask questions instead of making statements. Number 2, when you see somebody struggling, don't rush in to save the day. Hold back and see if they can find their legs. You know, I think about somebody that is learning how to swim or learning how to ride a bike. Sometimes they have to fall. Doesn't mean that somebody that is learning how to swim, that you're just going to let them drown. But maybe they need to feel what it's like to go under the water for a second before coming back up again. Maybe they are able to get themselves out of that position. So see if they can. Watch. Be careful and watch for sure. When somebody is doing something new, go ahead and watch and observe and see what you need to do to support. But only step in when they're asking for help or when you know that there's a really good chance that they might drown. And the third thing that you can do is you can set yourself up as the guide, as the person who is going to be here for you if you need help and support. You can set yourself up that way, in particular, if you share your own experiences. So by letting other people know that you also had to find your footing, that you also had to go through some storms and not make it out perfectly or not finish a project perfectly, to have some failure, to not always get the grade or have a perfect outcome. If you can share some of those experiences and what you learned from that, or even just that you experienced them and that you're okay now, that is going to make you more credible and safe for somebody else who is trying to find their way, for them to come to you. They're going to feel better about coming to you in that scenario. Sometimes you just don't know what you're really capable of until you're hit by a storm and you rise to the occasion. I hope that you can make space for people in your orbit, people who you care about, to do the same, because their voice matters and they can make it matter more.